everybody. What's up? Come on in. Come on in. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing well. And I hope you guys are not dealing with any bad weather because um we've been going through some really cold weather and snowstorms. And I know a lot of people in different areas from Michigan to, the East Coast has been dealing with snowstorms this past week or this past weekend. So I hope everybody is safe, warm, and now, as you can see from the title of this live, oh my God, I couldn't wait to get into this review for this movie by Tyler Perry, mainly because most of y'all know I like Tyler Perry. I know some people don't care for him, don't care for a lot of his movies or a lot of his sitcoms or him at all. Don't care for Medea, don't care for none of that. But I am a huge Tyler Perry fan. And on top of that, one of the main characters in this movie, I adore. I really adore. And let me just first of all say, now I just saw a lot of reviews from some critics, and some of them said, the movie was not all that. And then I heard from other people, including people on Facebook and social media, that they thought the movie was awesome. And they thought it might even be a part 2 to this movie. And I saw that comment before I actually watched the movie. So now that I watched the movie, I really do believe too that it might be a part 2 to this movie. But anyhow, let me just let you guys know, it's going to be some spoilers in this. So if you're coming in and you don't want to hear the spoilers, spoiler alert. But, for the rest of you guys, whether you watched it or not, if you want to, hear what my opinion is on the show, on the movie, and you want to voice your opinions if you saw the movie as well, please feel free to comment what you thought about the movie in the chat. I would love to hear from you what you thought about Tyler Perry's newest work. And is one of my eyebrows kind of, hold up, I need my little eyebrow brush. Anyway, so yeah, some of the stars in the show was Crystal Fox, who plays Grace, who also stars in Tyler Perry's film The Have and Have Nots, which I actually do reviews on. Crystal, she has been acting forever. I think she's a very talented actress. She first played in, for some of y'all who might be Heat of the Night fans, you might remember her as Luann Corbin in the series The Heat of the Night, and from 1998. She appeared in different theatrical productions, including For Color Girls and Everybody's Ruby. And again, she stars in Tyler Perry's TV sitcom The Have and Have Nots. She's been starring in that since 2013, and her name in that movie or that TV sitcom that she goes by is Hannah Young. I love me some Hannah Young. And if you've been following Tyler Perry's The Have and Have Nots, again, I do reviews on that show. So feel free, when you see the notification that I'm about to do a review on the show, feel free to tune in and check out some of the past reviews, of course, that I've already done on the show. So yes, but anyway, so not only is she one of the stars in the movie, but also Mehcad Brooks, who plays Shannon in the movie, and very handsome Black man. He's been in a lot of films, also a lot of TV shows, from Malcolm in the Middle, Cold Case, Ghost Whisperer, The Game, and also, a lot of other movies. Like I said, Brisha Webb, a lot of you guys might remember her very well. She played in a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies. She played in Acrimony, Night School, Zombie Love, I Really Hate My Ex, but where I mostly remember her from is Love That Girl. Remember M. Unique? Unique, one of the most hoodest, ghettoest names I've ever heard before. Unique Jefferson. She played in Love That Girl for 4 years on TV1. So that's where I mainly remember her from. And I thought she was like the goofiest, craziest, cutest little thing. So yeah, I've been a fan of her since then. But this movie I thought was really good. So I know some of the critics was like, yeah, Tyler Perry does some great work, but some of his work falls short, and they felt this work fell short. So again, I want to know how you guys, feel about the movie. But anyway, let's jump right into it. The movie has started off really slow. I was kind of wondering, where is this going? And also, I forgot to tell y'all, Cicely Tyson played in this also. And I had just read somewhere where Cicely Tyson, she was her, I don't know if it was an interview or something like that, but she said that she is not going to stop acting until she's dead. And Cicely Tyson is like 95 years old now. She plays in this movie also Alice. Tyler Perry plays in this movie as well. He plays the boss, Rory. His name is Rory, and he plays Jasmine's boss. And Brescia Webb, she plays Jasmine. Cicely Tyson, she plays an elderly lady named Alice. McCad Brooke plays Shannon, this guy that Sarah meets. I mean, not Sarah, but Grace meets. And Crystal Fox from The Have and the Have Not, she plays Grace Ann Waters. Felicia Rashad plays her friend Sarah. And again, Brescia Webb plays Jasmine, an attorney. Cicely Tyson plays an elderly lady named Alice. And Tyler Perry plays Jasmine's boss, Rory. So, okay, now that I got that out the way, those are like the top stars or the top cast members in the show. So anyway, it started off kind of slow, and I was kind of like wondering where the heck it was going. Shannon, he came into play basically because of the fact that Grace Ann Waters, she had got a divorce. She was a single woman, middle-aged woman, and her friend Sarah kept telling her, Grace, I'm tired of seeing you moping around and unhappy and woo-woo-woo. I think you need to start dating. You need to start going out. You've been separated from your husband for some time. You done bought a home. You now own your home. I mean, you got a great job. You got great friends, but you need somebody special in your life. So she has suggested that she go on Christian Mingle. Or some type of, I don't think she necessarily said Christian Mingle, but she did say some Christian dating website, because the thing about Grace is she's like this sweet little church going, Bible thumping, cookie baking, homeless shelter feeding, charity giving. She's like a really, really, really sweet lady who thought she was in a great relationship till she found out that her husband of so many years cheated on her with his very, very young receptionist, or was it secretary? I think secretary. She caught them in bed. So Sarah convinces Grace that she needs to be introduced to a good friend of hers, a photographer friend. So Grace finally takes her up on this offer, and she goes to this art gallery, and she's looking at all the art displays and just perusing the joint. And who walks up to her but the photographer? He kind of plays it off and acts like he's not the real photographer, and she's up there commenting on the work and all this, and she thinks it's a woman because the photographer's name is Shannon, and woo woo woo. And then once the host gets called up into the middle of the floor to speak about their artwork and stuff, she realizes Shannon is not a woman, but Shannon is this handsome black man that she was talking to. So that's how they get introduced. Next thing you know, he done dropped off some artwork at her job, and that was crazy because I was like, how the heck he find out where she worked? And she was like, how the heck did he find out what bank I work at or where I work at? And he said that he had got her name and information from the sign-in list at the art gallery. And I'm like, okay, so he got her name, so then he found out where she worked and all this, none of that like got my attention at that point. I'm just thinking, okay, he got her information from the sign-in sheet. But later we learned how he really got that information. But anyway, they started courting each other. And when I say courting each other, I mean really courting each other. She wanted to keep it old school as possible. So they did the old school courting. She wouldn't give in to him. She wouldn't have sex with him. She wouldn't let him come up in her house. Nothing like that. They went on dates, romantic dinners, romantic evenings. I mean, he took her to some really romantic places. And then one of the places he finally took her was to this beautiful garden. And I guess in this beautiful garden, there's like all these fireflies or lightning bugs, how we used to call them, that once you stir up the garden, the fireflies, they just come out of nowhere and it's just beautiful and they light up the sky and it's just beautiful. And that's where he took her, had her spinning around, had her twirling around like Kenya Moore, had her twirling around, and the lightning bugs or the fireflies just started appearing out of, man, while she was just up there just, marveling over the fireflies and the beauty, he bends down on bending knees. And when she turns around, she sees that he has a ring and he is proposing to her and he asks her to marry her. And hey, everybody who's tuning in the bushes, feel free to comment in the chat if you like, especially if you saw this Tyler Perry movie on Netflix. But so he asks her to marry her and she immediately says yes. And I was thinking at that time, like, what the hell? Okay, so he been taking you on all these romantic dinners and to these romantic places and, treating you really nice and really sweet and being a gentleman at all times, but they really haven't dated that long. But anyway, she thought he was worthy to be her husband and she was worthy to be his wife. So she was like, I accept. I will marry you. And that went to, it seemed like everything was okay. They had a beautiful wedding. She was dressed up to the nines in her wedding gown, and the wedding party was beautiful and it was just beautiful. And I'm like, okay, this lady got into this relationship, this heated, steamy relationship. She tells the man that she'll marry him. She gets married. So how the heck she end up in jail behind bars facing murder charges? I'm like, facing murder charges for killing her husband. I'm like, how the heck did this happen? What happened, Hannah? It's so funny because the whole movie, I'm in my head, I'm thinking Hannah, because that's her name from the Have and Have Nots, which I've been watching for seasons, for years. And so, every time I see her, I just think Hannah. But in this movie, her name is Grace. So I'm like, what the heck happened, Grace? What really happened, child? But, the story goes on. And it's like once she got married to him, everything was going cool at first. But then one night she walks in on him. I think she was upstairs in bed and she walked downstairs to see why he ain't came to bed or what's going on. And she walks in on hearing his phone discussion and he's telling somebody on the phone, did you enjoy the fireflies? And of course, automatically, she's like, what? Enjoy the fireflies? Who are you talking to? She's like, who are you talking to? And he's like, hold up. First of all, he got off the phone. He told them he'll talk to them later. He got off the phone. Let me turn off my notifications on my phone because it's just, okay. Turn off the notifications on my phone. Because my Facebook and inbox and everything is popping. But he gets off the phone and he turns to her, and I'm telling you, that look he gave her, I thought he was about to get up and beat her tail. He got up talking about, first of all, Grace, wife, let me tell you something. There's two things that I don't like. And one of them is being checked up on, and the other one is being questioned. To me, that's all one thing. But anywho, he was like, so don't ever do that again. And she's up there apologizing. Well, I'm sorry, I missed you. He was like, I missed you too. Next thing you know, Everything is cool. But she did call her friend Sarah, the one who suggested that she even go out with the guy, Shannon. And Sarah was like, you don't trip. You're blowing this out of proportion. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. It's probably nothing. He's not, don't look too deep in this, because Grace was believing that it might be another woman. Like, he took me to see the fireflies, and then he asked me to marry him. He proposed to me at that same location, and now he's on the phone in the middle of the night asking somebody else, how did you like the fireflies? So of course any other woman would naturally assume that it might be something going on. But anyway, Sarah, she basically lets her feel like it's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. The next day, she gets called into her office. Grace gets called into her office at the bank by her bosses, and they got a whole meeting up there. All the executives is in there, and they started flipping out on her because they done did an internal audit on her department, and $379,000 is missing from her account, and they are accusing her of stealing the money. Now, even though she's been working there for a while and she thinks, why would you think I did this? I've been a faithful employee. I come to work all the time, do overtime, all that kind of stuff, stay late. And I ain't never stole a penny. But now you think I done up and ran off with, well, not ran off because she's still there, but up and stole $379,000 from our accounts? They didn't want to hear it though. They had too much evidence. I mean, they had her company ID, the person who did it used her company ID, her passwords, her computer IP, her name, her codes, her laptop. I mean, so they fired her. They fired her and told her, if you don't give us the $379,000 back, then you can face prison time. And she still was like, I ain't do it. I ain't did it, boss. I ain't did it. So she leaves, packs her stuff, leaves the premises. They walk her out. Security walks her out the door. And I'm like, hold up. So what? Wait a minute. $379,000 is missing from your account. Okay. She gets off. She was not off of work. She's fired. She leaves her job. And she calls Sarah again, her friend Sarah, and tells her what's going on. And Sarah's consoling her and telling her something, they gonna figure it out or whatever. She calling her husband Shannon. He's not answering the phone. He's nowhere to be found. And she just assumes that he might be with this other woman who he was on the phone with, talking about the fireflies in the garden and all that kind of stuff. And then he walks in the home, acting all nonchalant, like he ain't heard his phone ring, like he ain't know she called. And she's talking to him, and she's like telling him the money, what happened to the money missing in thin air. And she's accusing him of being with another woman. And then he's like, Sarah, can I be alone with my wife? AKA, can you get the hell out of our house? Sarah was like, I ain't going nowhere. Man, I'm telling you, when I tell you, Felicia Rashad is a bomb-ass actress. She was sitting there, I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here. And he was like, oh, so you just gonna let your friend sit here and talk to me like that in front of you? Hannah. See, I call her Hannah. I keep calling her Hannah because, she been playing on the have and have nots for so long. But anyway, Grace, she was like, it's okay, Sarah. It's okay. I'll be fine. I'm thinking, again, this man is about to beat her butt. Just because of the way, his whole attitude, his whole demeanor, the sound of his voice. Sarah ups and leaves. All right, I'm out. I would have done the same thing. I ain't leaving, because he was just looking too threatening. Like, if I leave out of here, my homegirl get mollywopped and monkey stomped in this house, I'm coming back for his. But anyway, Sarah laughing. I'm like, okay, he about to whoop her tail. He about to get into Grace. But anyway, he consoles her and he's telling her, oh, we gonna handle this. And I was with such and such. He throws all these pictures on the table, all these photography pictures of these elderly people. I didn't even get it at that time. I was like, still not getting it. I'm telling you, Tyler Perry, I don't care what people say, I thought the movie was good. Some critics is like, yeah, some critics is like, nah. But I thought it was really, really good. And I can be really critical when it comes to movies and TV shows. But at that time, now, if y'all seen the movie, y'all let me know. Did y'all think something was up? I mean, I thought something was up with the pictures, but I didn't think it was what it was. I'm like, hold up, this fool, he trying to get out of what he really doing. He know he cheating on his wife, but he gonna throw her these pictures showing these old. He called them cancer patients. These old cancer patients. He took them to the same garden where he took his wife when he proposed, and they got to see all the fireflies, aka lightning bugs. And he was like, the lady you called me on the phone with late at night, that was their senior nurse. And he was asking her, how did he like the fireflies photo shoot? So I'm like, okay, he might have done this photo shoot with these elderly women, but I'm thinking, you still cheating on your wife. You just trying to use this, as an excuse to get her mind off of things. But anywho, he says she apologizes, and he's like, we're gonna figure this out and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, nephew Charmer Chucky, you said I need me a sugar mama that wants me to have some money like that. She paid for that time. Man, when he said that, nephew Charm, I mean, okay, we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that, but that I was dead after that comment. He was like, you paid for this, you owe me this. I was like, what the hell? But yeah, and so he was playing it all cool and acting like he don't know what's going on and all that kind of stuff. She told him about the mortgage. She's behind on her mortgage and thinks somebody has stole her ID. And when Grace found out what was going on after she went to see the bank and looked at the surveillance cameras and found out that it was her own husband, Shannon, who did it, and he's up there denying it, just denying it. She's like, you on camera. I got the video footage. I sent it to your phone. Check it out. He looks at his phone and he's like, well, see, what had happened was... He confesses that he needed the money to pay off some people that you don't really want to owe money to. So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, all right. I can believe that part. He stole the money because he figured, he might owe some money to some, I don't know, gambling debts, or I don't know. But I'm thinking, okay, that's believable, but still, she want her money back, and this fool gonna tell her, I ain't giving you shit back. First of all, I'm married to you, so what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours by the law in our state, and on top of that, you owe me. He was like, you owe me. You was all miserable and lonely and... and by yourself after your husband left you for his secretary. He was like, you owe me. I done came into your life and I done turned your whole world around and I showed you love and I married you and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, this mofo didn't. And he talking about he ain't gonna leave the house. She like, get the hell out. He's like, I'm not leaving. This is our house. Man, I'm surprised at that time she did not flip out at that time, but it came later. She called the cops, told the cops she wanted him to leave, just as I would suspect in most cases. When the cop comes, they but ma'am, this your husband. He ain't beating on you. He ain't hit you. He ain't threatening you. Yeah, he cheated on you. He's sleeping with women in your own house now. He done had some young tail up in the bedroom and she done walked in. It brought back flashbacks of her when she walked in on her husband, her ex-husband and his secretary. Now she walking on her new husband and his little tramp thing up in there. Did y'all see that part, nephew Charmy? Hey, Felicia Fee. Did y'all see the part where when she walked in on him with the young tail and she said, no, you didn't. You got me up in your mama's house. I was dead. He was like, no, my mama looked better than that. That ain't my mama. And they kept on doing it. Then he walks her out, kissing and holding her, and asks when the next time she gonna be over. She said, "You think your mama would mind you?" He said, "Oh, don't worry about her." And while Grace is sitting in the other room listening, enraged because you not only slept with a woman in my crib, you slept with her in our bed, and then after I busted you, you stayed in there and finished the job. And then you walking her out and inviting her back over. I was like, and he stole her money, nephew Charming, $379,000, and he stole her money. I was like, ain't this about a blip? I was like, you said 100,000 to see fireflies. Man, she probably paid for her own ring. When you come to think about it, she probably paid for her own wedding. She paid for her own dress. She obviously paid for everything because this fool, I was like, man, that was wild. I would have been so upset. I don't know how I would have reacted in this same situation. I really don't know how I would have acted in this same situation. But one thing for sure and 2/3 for certain, she got his ass. You said, he, yes, he's calling her grandma. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, so the police wouldn't make him leave. He wouldn't leave. And I was thinking, just change the locks. And I'm thinking that ain't gonna work because this fool, he better come in and kick the door down and managed to make her give up the keys to the locks and everything. But anyway, she done flipped out. He sat down in the chair and he was just giving her every reason, every excuse why he was able to do what he did to her. He was like, you weak, you're lonely, you're old, you're vulnerable. I mean, he was just letting her have it. Next thing you know, she must have picked up a bag and swung that mofo all around the world and and start beating all the brain matter out of his head. She beat all the brain matter out of his head. I'm like, blood everywhere. Then she dragged him to the basement, pushed him down in the basement. Then she jumped in her car and drove off, left him there in the basement, bleeding profusely, blood all on the walls, blood on the chair, blood on the carpet, blood everywhere, blood on the back, blood on her. And she jumped in her car and she drove off and called her friend, the one who suggested she hook up with Shannon in the first place, called her friend Sarah, Miss Felicia Rashad, and explained to her what happened. And she drove off. She went all the way to Illinois. Next thing you know, she's in jail. She's behind bars and facing murder charges. And she knows that she killed this man. So she's like, okay, I'm just going to, plead guilty. Her lawyer tried to get her not to plead guilty. At first, her lawyer was like, okay, I'm gonna talk you into getting this plea deal. And all you want is to be in a prison that's close to your son so that he don't have to travel so far, to visit you and, your grandkids if they come to the jail. But, basically her son and stuff. So her lawyer, Jasmine, which is played by Brescia Webb, she tells her, okay, all right. But then she's like, Jasmine was like, nah, this ain't all adding up. It got to be something else to this story. This is not adding up. And she didn't think she was guilty. So she begged her to tell her the story. And she didn't turn in a plea deal to the court because she was like, no, I'm not turning in this plea deal. I think if you tell me the story, I can fight for you and get you off. So Jasmine, she lets her tell her the story. She told her everything that happened. But then Jasmine, her attorney, was like, but hold up. You said you killed the man. You pushed him down a flight of stairs. You drove off. but you didn't move the body? And she's like, no, I didn't move the body. I left the body. She's like, well, where's the body? Because ain't nobody found the body. So then I'm thinking, where the hell is the body? Did this fool get up and run? Did he take off and run in the middle of the night and he's out in hiding? I'm like, no, why would he be out in hiding? Because if his wife tried to kill him, he got all these young women that he's messing with and stole all her money and everything. Why won't he just go to the cops and say, my wife tried to kill me, and make sure she goes to jail? This is where it gets really, really suspenseful. So she's sitting in the jail. Grace telling her the story. Once she hears the story and once she realizes that somebody else had to be involved, she's like, you called Sarah your friend that night, right? Do you think Sarah might have went over there to move, your husband Shannon? Do you think she might have tried to cover it up? Because from all the evidence and the blood splatter and all this, they was like, all the blood that should have been found from that type of beating with a baseball bat to the brain, it should have been that much blood all over the house. But what they found was a little bit of blood here, a little bit of blood here. That could equal up to amount of blood over through the years. That's when I started thinking, well, Shannon whooping her butt and we just didn't see them scenes, because where is all the blood? Where's all the blood? And then when the attorney tried to say, well, it could have been blood from throughout the years, that just accumulated and you thought it was enough to kill a person to be left over from somebody who'd been murdered. But anyway, that was really confusing there. And then she was like, you know what? The attorney, she went and talked to Sarah, her friend, talked to Sarah. While she's up there sitting around talking to Sarah at her house, she sees this little old lady played by Cicely Tyson, and the little old lady's name is Alice, and she sees her peek around the corner while Sarah, she went to look for some photos or look for something, and she's like, hi to the little old lady, and the little old lady, she just turns around and she hurries up and try to get back to where the heck she was going in the house. And I'm like, what is this little old lady? At that time, I'm like, she up in there abusing old people. What's she doing with these old people up in her house? Sarah, what you doing with these old people in your house? Because like, that can't be her mama or nothing, looking very weathered, and her clothes was all raggedy and her hair was all towed back. And I'm like, what is going on with this little old lady? And who is the little old lady? She brings a photo back. Sarah brings a photo back, and she's showing her the photo and everything. And then next thing we know, come to find out that Sarah, she said Grace's son, Malcolm, also was at the house that night. So she's trying to lead it on that maybe possibly Malcolm has something to do with the body, and Malcolm might have moved the body. But when the attorney, when she brings it back to Grace's attention, Grace is like, no, I don't want them to have nothing to do with it. I killed him. I don't know where the body went, but I killed him. I know I killed him. I don't know where the body went, but I don't want my son or my friend, my best friend, Sarah, involved. So she don't call neither one of them to the stand. Once she convinces Grace to let her try the case and, take it to the jury and stuff, when it seemed like all hope was gone, while she was trying to plead the case, and the prosecutors, they just had so much ammunition, and it looked like the case was lost. The attorney, Jasmine, she was like, please, Grace, please let me call your son or, your best friend, Sarah, to the stand. And Grace still didn't want her to do it. But anyway, Jasmine went ahead and she called her friend Sarah to the stand. Man, all the pressure that those prosecuting attorneys put on Sarah. Sarah was up. They was like, hold up, Sarah. Now you say Grace called you that night. What did y'all talk about? And Sarah was like, let's see. We talked about feeding the homeless. We talked about her son, Malcolm. And they was like, well, how long were you on the phone? And I think she said like 15, 20 minutes, something like that. And the prosecuting attorney was like, but hold up. The phone records only show y'all was on here for a few minutes. And Jasmine was like, hold the hell, where these phone records come in? Why I didn't get, introduced to no phone records? Why? Because Jasmine just took the case a few weeks ago. Because at first they was trying to get Grace to plead out and just say she guilty and get her in a nice little prison nearby her son so he didn't have to travel far. But at the last minute, Jasmine was like, no, we trying this case. The evidence and the phone records that the prosecutors had, she didn't know about because she just got on the case and she didn't try to find out if there's any phone records or anything like that. So basically, they got her. Next thing you know, they asking Sarah, what did y'all really talk about? Sarah's like, they was like, do you know you can go to jail? They was like, do you know that you can go to jail, Sarah? If you do not tell us what really happened, what the phone call was about, do you realize you can go to jail along with Grace? That's when Sarah, she let it be known that Grace told her that night that she killed her husband. That was a wrap then. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. Sarah was like, she told me she killed her husband. And I'm sitting there like, hold up. At that minute, I was like, something's wrong. Something wrong. It was a good movie, Felicia. I loved it. I really, really loved it. I'm like, but at that point, I was like, something's wrong. Grace, you her best friend. Why would you say that? I mean, okay. They could have brought you up on charges, for not telling the truth on the stand, but still, I don't know. You just sat there and said, she told me that she killed her husband. I would have been found guilty for perjury because I wouldn't have told that my bestie killed her husband. But anyway, she told her, and I knew at that point that something wasn't right with Miss Sarah, Miss Felicia Rashad. But anyway, she got found guilty. They put her in jail. But I do like the attempt that Jasmine tried to make at the next day or the next time they came to court when they had to give their closing arguments or their closing statement. After the prosecutors gave their closing statement, and then she get up there and she's like, I'm gonna call Sarah back to the stand. And the judge was like, hold the hell up, where they do that at? You can't call nobody back to the stand after you done already rested your case the other day. You can't just call somebody back to the stand, but what you can do is file an appeal. So she was like, file an appeal? No, we're not doing that. And she was like, I want to call Sarah back to the stand. And the reason why she did that was because the night after the trial ended, after the closing statements, she went home and she was being like a bee to her husband. He was trying to feed her, make sure she eat dinner. And she was just up there. She was so upset and crying and emotional and all that kind of stuff because she lost the case. Excuse me, she lost the case. At least she believes she lost the case, even though closing statements weren't done and all that. The case wasn't all the way wrapped up. But she figured she lost the case because Sarah, said that Grace told her she killed her husband. Her boss then, Tyler Perry, his name Rory in the movie, he walked into the courtroom and he was going off on her, talking about her, telling her that, he's disappointed in her and how he missed the phone records. He was like, I even knew about the phone records because I had been shadowing you. So he had been shadowing her because I think he really wanted to see if she could really win the case, even though he had doubts about her because she never tried a case before. She always pleaded out, but it was never big cases like this where she truly believed that the person being tried was guilty. Was innocent. And she definitely thought that Grace was innocent. So that's why she decided to try the case. So her husband walks in the courtroom and hears her boss talking down on her like that and insulting her. And he was like, he heard her boss say that he was insulted because she allowed a witness to leave the stand saying that her client is a murderer. And I was looking at that too, like, When it happened, like, hold up. Her best friend, her witness said, my friend killed her husband. And then you just rested your case? Like, you just let her sit there and say she did it? But I think she was kind of in shock when she heard Sarah say that. So I think she was kind of in shock, and that's why she was like, okay, it's over. We tried, but it's over. But anyway, she blows up on her husband later that night because she thought her husband should have defended her. And he was like, but your boss made some good points. And then she was real mad because he agreed with some of the things her boss had said. But then, after they talked it out and he consoled her and pushed her to continue fighting, that's when she showed up in court. Instead of giving a closing statement, she's up there telling the judge, I want to call Sarah back to the stand because I should have questioned her after she said my client is a murderer. And the judge was like, well, that's too bad. Again, where they do that at? You should have done that when you had Miss Sarah on the stand the first time. So he was like, hey, no. She kept standing up. I want to call Sarah to the stand. And the judge was like, listen, I need you in my office right now, you and the prosecuting attorney. She was like, no, I ain't going nowhere until you put Sarah on the stand. I was cracking up. I was like, well, go ahead, Jasmine. I'm like, it ain't going to happen. But anyway, they ended up putting her in jail for contempt of court. So she's in jail. Grace is in jail for murder. The lawyer's in jail for contempt of court. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Her husband, he was like, please just apologize to the judge, babe, so we can go home. Just apologize to the judge. She didn't want to apologize to the judge, but she apologized to the judge. The judge let her off. After that, she was like, I want to go talk to Sarah. Please take me to Sarah's house. Her husband's like, you sure you want to go talk to Sarah? She's like, yeah, I want to talk to Sarah. But just, a few blocks away from Sarah's house, she was like, let me out. I'll walk the rest of the way. So he goes on to work because he's a cop and he had to be back on duty. While she's at Sarah's house, knocks on the door. While she's at Sarah's house, when she approaches the house, she notices the little old lady, Alice, the one that she had seen people around the corner at Sarah's house the first time she visited Sarah to interview her about Grace. The little old lady was walking around outside in the middle of the street with a nightgown, with a house robe on, just looking lost, talking about she's trying to go back home. She don't want to go back to Sarah's house. Please don't take me back to Sarah's house. And I'm like, yeah, Sarah up in there. She's in there abusing some elderly ladies. I'm like, she up there abusing this lady. I'm like, why this lady scared to go back to Sarah's house? Then she talking about she wants to go back home. And Sarah, Jasmine, she takes the little old lady back in the house and sits her down. The little old lady's like, I want to go home. And she gives her the address where her home is. Come to find out, her home is the same address that the bank had given Grace when she asked for the mortgage papers information and where the mail was sent and all this kind of stuff for the mortgage that had been taken out on her home that she didn't sign for, that she found out her husband signed for. And the address was 2989 Sycamore Street. The same address. And a bell went off in Jasmine's head when she heard that address. She's like, why that address sounds familiar? Then she realized where that address sounded familiar. But by that time, her husband had got a call when he was arresting somebody and they told him to check his computer. He checks his computer. He finds out that Sarah has been involved in some illegal activities and he sees all her mug shots. So he immediately leaves the guy that he's arrested and got bent over his car in handcuffs. He leaves him there standing on the side of the street in handcuffs and hightails it over to Sarah's house because he just has a sense that his wife might be in danger. While he's heading over to Sarah's house, Jasmine, she's talking to the little old lady. Next thing you know, she hears some noises from the basement. She goes in the basement to investigate, and what do she find? all these little old ladies just looking so helpless, like they've been starving to death, abused, taken advantage of, mistreated. I mean, they look so bad. They look so bad. And they was chained to the wall. All of them. It had to been like 20, 25 little old ladies chained to the wall. And next thing you know, somebody comes behind Jasmine and grabs her around her mouth and drags her somewhere and ties her up and chains her and gag her at the mouth. Sarah comes home. She realized immediately something's wrong. Something's wrong because little Miss Old Alice, Cicely Tyson, sitting at the table just looking crazy. Sarah goes downstairs in the basement and she walks in and finds Jasmine all tied up and stuff and chained up. And she's like, hold up, hey Candace, I thought it was an excellent movie. I really thought it was an excellent movie. She walks in and finds Jasmine tied up, and then behind her walks up Shannon. Now we know where the body went. He talking about, hey mama. Calling Sarah his mama. I'm like, hold up. This is not happening. I'm like, Tyler Perry, I cannot stand you, Tyler Perry. I mean, I didn't put none of that together. I knew something was off with Sarah. I knew she was abusing elderly people. But like at the beginning of the show, when Jasmine's husband, the cop, when he was called to a scene at this house, and he had went on the roof because a little old lady was threatening to jump. He begged her and tried to plead with her to not jump. She ends up jumping off the roof. And remember that? He came home and he told his wife that night, Jasmine, the attorney, told her, I just saw somebody jump off a roof and commit suicide. And that was it, though. He didn't go into any. Jasmine had no idea who house it was, who lived there, none of that stuff. She didn't know Sarah anyway. But that was the same house where the little old lady had jumped off the roof. And that's what little old Alice was telling Jasmine before she walked in the basement. She was like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die like the rest of my friends. I don't want to die here at this house like the rest of those old ladies. And she started naming off all the people, who had died at the house. And she started naming off, then she named off Shane, the lady who jumped to her death from the roof. And I was like, wow, that was the little old lady that Jasmine's husband tried to save at the beginning of the show. But anyway, so Jasmine's husband, he finally comes in and he's fighting with Shannon, Grace's ex-husband. And next thing you know, Jasmine gets loose, grabbed a gun and shoots Shannon. So basically, in the end, they find out that Grace really didn't do it. You said you tripped him out. You said that tripped him out because he never said nothing else. Yeah, he never said nothing else. He was just like, I just saw a lady jump to her death, and I didn't think nothing of it either. At the beginning of the movie, I'm like, oh, that's so sad. Why that little old lady jumped to her death? I'm thinking she was crazy, psychotic, schizophrenic. I'm like on some drugs, some medicines that reacted wrong to her. And I'm thinking that's why she jumped from the roof. But yeah, that was crazy. At the end, come to find out, then Sarah and her son have been up to a lot of mess for over 25 years. They've been hustling, honey. For over 25 years, they've been hustling. They've been kidnapping and abusing elderly women, taking all their money, including their disability checks, and holding them hostage. And I'm like, when they said holding them hostage, and I saw all those women in the basement, I'm like, they probably holding them hostage till they die. And then they discard or get rid of their body. And then not only that, but Shannon, a.k.a. Maurice, because his real name is Maurice Mills, And his mother, Sarah, her real name is Betty Mills, come to find out. But Maurice, he also was involved in bigamy, and is wanted in 9 different states for bigamy, racketeering, and conning at least 16 other middle-aged women. So on top of them kidnapping all these old ladies for over 25 years and holding them hostage, not only did he con I'm about to say Hannah. I swear, every time I look at that lady, I want to call her Hannah from the Have and the Have Nots. But Grace, not only did he con her, a middle-aged woman, but he conned like 16 other middle-aged women into their money too. They was paid. They made so many millions over 25 years. They made so many millions of dollars over that time, conning and abusing and kidnapping all those women, all those victims. They made so much money. But now Grace, she's been vindicated. And I wonder, as far as Jasmine goes, because we didn't really see her and her boss interaction after that, because her boss, Rory, played by Tyler Perry, had told her if she tried that case and she lost, she was going to be fired and her career was going to be ruined. She won't be an attorney anymore. So I wonder, being that I really think it's going to be a part 2 to this, I wonder if she is going to start up her own law firm or something, because her boss really did have no faith in her and threatened to fire her and was not letting her try any cases, was just letting her plead cases for all this time while she was working at the firm. And then when she thinks that she can really win a case, she messed up. She missed something. She messed up, but it was her first case that she tried. And he didn't have no faith in her, didn't back her, didn't try to help her. No way, no how. And so she lost the case, but come to find out, she was right all along. She knew that it was more to that story. And Grace didn't kill her husband after all. He survived. To live to see another day, to try to hustle and abuse and kidnap and con some old elderly women. But now he dead. At least I think he's dead after Jasmine shot him. I do believe he might be dead this time. You said all them poor ladies. Man, all them poor old ladies looking like they was in some kind of third world country. I mean, just looking like they was starving, dehydrated, malnourished. I mean, I was like, them poor old ladies. They looked like they was 2 seconds from being dead. Like, really, they was all pale when they was having them walk out. They was all chained up. So when they had them walking out the house, you know, in line, single file, I was looking at like they was all pale and stuff. Even the black ones, they looked white. That's how pale they was. You said she probably isn't going back. He absolutely had no faith in her anyway. I would be, if I was her, I would go and I would open my own law firm, and I would take clients who are said to be guilty, clients who really, really, really are convincing enough that I think it might be a change I can get them off because they're not really guilty. So I think that's what she should do. But as far as Candace, do you think it might be a part 2, the way it kind of ended? Because what had happened was, while Jasmine and her husband was downstairs fighting off, let me get the real name right. Her name is Sarah, but AKA Betty Mills. When they were fighting Sarah's son, the cop, Jasmine's husband, he had handcuffed Sarah behind her back upstairs. So I'm like, what happened to Sarah? She was handcuffed at the table. Next thing you know, she done disappeared. They said she's on the run. And she shows up at another person's house. Some white woman, she shows up at her house because the white lady was looking for somebody to care for her elderly parent, her elderly mother. And Sarah shows up and she was like, Nice to meet you. You know, the lady was like, oh, I'm so happy you're here. I've been looking for someone to take care of my mother. And Sarah immediately says, well, what did she used to do? What kind of work did she used to do? And the white lady goes into telling her what she used to do for years and all this. I'm like, uh-oh. Sarah done probably taken up a whole new identity. Ain't no telling what name she is using now. I mean, the ending was like, I love how Grace got vindicated. And I think the son, the guy she was married to, Shannon, aka Maurice Mills, his real name in the show, I do think he might be dead. But as far as Sarah, I do think it's gonna be a part two. And I think it's gonna be more of Sarah still hustling and still being conning, old women out of their money and stuff. But I think she's gonna try to get retaliation for her son's death. That's what I think that's gonna happen. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel. Let me know what y'all think. If that's what's going to happen, if she's going to try to retaliate for her son's death, or do y'all think he's really dead at all? Like before, I mean, I don't know how the heck I don't know how the heck Sarah's son survived the first time, because Grace was beating the mess out of him with that baseball bat. When he wouldn't leave her house, she was beating the mess out of his head with that baseball bat, and he survived. So shoot, I don't know. He might have survived that gunshot at the end. Like he got 9 lives. Now he got 8 lives left. I don't know. But the movie I thought was awesome. I thought it was good. And a lot of people agree with me that they thought the movie was good. Again, I'm a fan of Tyler Perry. I'm a fan of Brescia Webb. I'm a fan of Cicely Tyson. And that lady, again, she is 95 years old, and she's like, I'm not going to stop acting until I'm dead. And I believe it. Now, I ain't trying to wish death on no one, but I can see her being in the middle of recording a movie or a TV show, and that's where she gonna be when she gone to glory. I'm telling y'all, I can see it, or reading a script or something. Sure, I can see it. But yeah, she says she's gonna act to the very end. So I'm glad she's still around, because she's 95 years old, and I mean, she's still a beautiful woman. She's still a great actress, and I know her family is really proud of her. I know her family, kids, grandkids, is really proud of her, because she is an amazing woman. And so is Felicia Rashad. Lord have mercy. She's a great actress as well. So, I'm a fan of all of them. So I thought this movie, and Tyler Perry, of course, I thought he did great. But you know what? Everybody has their own opinion, and you said there was a meme on the book that said she was hitting his shoulders. You said, considering no brain splatter. No, did you see the meme that somebody said, it's income tax season, and they had a meme of the man Shannon, when he was serving Grace breakfast in bed, and he had the tray, and he had the food on the tray, and his shirt was all showing all his muscles and abs and everything. They had a meme, and on that meme, it had that picture, that scene of him serving her breakfast in bed, and it said, it's tax season when this happens. I just seen the meme like yesterday, and I was cracking up. You said, yes, she is, but the role Felicia played got me mad. Felicia played the hell out of that role. I knew she had something to do with this, but I just thought she was, okay, let me put it this way. I knew she was up to something, or was doing something that was suspect, but I thought she was just abusing elderly women. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together, because at the beginning, when that elderly woman jumped to her death, they didn't show Felicia's house. Felicia, I'm calling her by her real name. They didn't show Sarah's house or nothing like that. So we had no idea that that little old lady that jumped to her death was at Sarah's house when she jumped to her death. So I was just thinking when we saw Cicely Tyson, well, Alice was her character name. When we saw Alice sneaking around the corner, and then when we saw her begging Jasmine not to take her back to Sarah's house, that's when I was just like, oh, she's just abusing elderly women, which is still bad, but I didn't think until, well, actually, I did think that she was. I was kind of suspicious of her a little more when she said in the stand, yes, Grace told me that she killed her husband. I was like, why would you do that? That's your bestie. Man, I'm telling you, if my bestie was up there and I thought something was awry with her relationship, and I thought that maybe she had to do what she did, or I'm like, I'll plead the fifth. Perjury it is. How much time we get for perjury? I'm gonna start me a GoFundMe. I'm gonna start me a GoFundMe so I get the best attorney, put money on my books, all that kind of shoot. I'm gonna have like $2,000 of phone call privileges and all kind of stuff because I'm like, uh. But you said you knew when she said Grace told her she did it. Yeah, something wasn't right. I knew it when she said that. I was like, man, see, Candace, me and you was in the same place. We was in the same place. I was like, something is not right. And I'm like, why does it seem like at that moment she really wants her best friend to go to prison? Come to find out, we know why. Because she tried to kill her son. She tried to kill her best friend's son, who we found out later was her son. But yeah, I thought the movie was great. I really did. The ending, I'm a little skeptical on the ending because it does seem like it might be a possibility of a part two, which I'll be totally down to watch and do a review on that one as well. So never know. Never know. Tyler Perry might do a part two. And he don't normally do part twos in a lot of his movies. I think only a few of his movies he actually had, a part two on his movies. So, but anyway, anyway, that was my review on A Fall from Grace, a new Netflix movie by Tyler Perry. Again, I give it a very high rating. I don't know. I give it like a 9 plus, 9.5. I give it a very high rating. So out of 5 stars, I'll probably give it 5. But share it. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell so that you can receive the notifications every time we go live or every time we upload a new video. And also, I'm about to wrap this up because I got to go handle my business. But also, this Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, we are going to be having an interview with a local artist here, local rap artist here by the name of Renault Toot Brown. A lot of y'all know him by the name of Toot, Toot. Renault Toot Brown. He is a local artist, local rapper from Omaha, Nebraska. He has some upcoming projects. A lot of y'all who is familiar with his music know that he was like one of the top selling rap artists in the Midwest in our region. When we were coming up, well, not when we were coming up, we were actually grown, but some time ago. I ain't gonna say how many years ago because then I'll be saying my age. But anyway, so we are going to be interviewing him this Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. So again, hit that notification bell, and we're going to talk and chit chat with him about, what he's been up to, what he's been doing, what kind of projects he's working on, and talk to him a little bit about the Midwest rap artists and, the history of, Midwest and Omaha rappers and all that good stuff. And 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, Wednesday. So I hope to see you all there. You just ran into him a few weeks ago. That is my guy. Yes, too. We go way, way back. I'm talking like 5th, 6th, 7th grade. We go way, way back. So yeah, I was when I heard that he had some new projects coming up, I hit him up right away. And he's excited to come on the show and, talk with us, and have us excited too. So again, make sure you are subscribed to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when we are, every time we go live or upload a video. But yeah, so Candace, I hope you can tune in Wednesday. And I just saw your comment. You said feta balls in the oven and do these green beans, mac and cheese, so I can eat and have dessert. The red stuff, it's been tough out here. Oh my God, that's what you eating today, girl. I ain't cooking today. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I ain't cooking today, but I got a lot to do. And I was trying to get these reviews out and get, handle my business that I had this morning and today, and tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. It's a holiday, so I should be having a 3-day weekend, but I'm not. I signed up to work some overtime because it was just I couldn't refuse it. Supervisor called me up like, hey, you want to work tomorrow on Martin Luther King Day? I said, not really. This was last Friday. I said, not really. And he was like, well, we're offering though holiday pay plus time and a half plus a $200 incentive. I started adding that. Hold on. Holiday pay, time and a half, $200. I was like, that's how much I'm gonna make for 8 hours, and I work from home, so I get to sit at home in my jammies. And I'm making holiday play plus time and a half plus $200 incentive. I was like, in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, when Medea had that calculator, she was trying to calculate how much her niece should get in her divorce settlement. I was like, okay, I'll work. I was like, even Martin Luther the King would work on his own holiday for that amount of money. So I'm sure I gotta, Anywho, so yes, tomorrow I will be working on my off day. You said clock me in, girl. I said sign me up. He said, you sure? I said sign me up. So yes, I'm like, heck yeah, sure. Pass that good old money up. Shoot, I can take off another day. But so anyhow, that's the deal. So yeah, so I'm trying to finish all my little business I got today that I wanted to do tomorrow, my day off, because I'm gonna work tomorrow. But anyway, you guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you enjoyed the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, even though I had all kind of spoilers, watch it anyway. Support the movie anyway, especially if you're a Tyler Perry fan, especially if you're a Have and Have Nots fan and you love you some Hannah, and some Felicia Rashad and some Cicely Tyson. I recommend that you support that movie and let me know how you feel about the movie or your opinion of the movie and how you rate the movie. If you watch this video after the live is over with, feel free to comment in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on the movie and the characters in the movie. But in the meantime and in between time, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for everybody commenting in the chat and socializing with me. And stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Hood Squad. Oh, see you Wednesday for our interview with Toot, rap artist, well-known Midwest rap artist from Omaha, Nebraska, Toot Brown, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Goodbye.